I mean, I come here, I go to class, and then I grab some food, and then I go home. So I mean, it's literally the same as what your classes might be like.
Right.
You just go and you sit down and you do what you do at class. It's not that different.
Yeah.
The only difference I can say is with having to pray 5 times a day. Sometimes I have to, since I'm a commuter, I can't just go to a dorm and pray there. I just have to like find a place where I can pray here, and it can be kind of awkward having to make wudu in the bathroom because when we make wudu, it's like a way to cleanse ourselves before we pray, and it involves like washing our hands, our mouth, our nose, our face, and then our arms to our elbows, and then kind of like tapping water on our hair and then on our ears and then our feet, and that can be really weird if somebody comes in and you're sticking your foot in the sink. It's like, oh no, please don't judge me, this isn't weird, okay? But it's like there's no other way to do it, so it's like,
Right.
okay, I'm just gonna have to live with that. And then finding an area to pray. So I prefer to pray in an empty room because it feels safer. No one's gonna bother me. But then sometimes if there's not a place, I just end up having to be like in the corner of a room or like in the hallway, and that's not the safest area. But what can you do, you know? So we have the same requirements like seeking knowledge, praying 5 times a day, believing in God, giving charity, Ramadan, and going to the pilgrimage. Those are like the main components. But the main difference is like men are required to go to the mosque every Friday for the Jummah prayer, which is like the second prayer of the day, but for Friday it's kind of like a Sunday sermon for Christians. So they're required to go, whereas we're not required to go. We're able to go, it's just that we're not required. So that's the main difference. Grade without the hijab. No one realized I was Muslim. Okay. Then 7th grade comes in. I start wearing the hijab during the summer. I come back wearing hijab, and nobody wanted to interact with me at all. All the friends that I had from 6th grade, most of them ended up avoiding me, and I was just like, why won't you guys talk to me? And then they just would not talk to me, and then I only knew like a few people that would still interact with me. So it's more of like people avoiding me for reasons I wasn't entirely sure of. I thought maybe it was because I was different from them, or they were scared of me, or whatever like that. And then because I was such an obvious other person, there was situations where people would call me like a terrorist or a suicide bomber, or like tell me I was evil straight to my face. Like I vividly remember that because it was so shocking to me. It's like, why are you calling me evil, you know? So that was in middle school. And then I had somebody who would bully me, kind of. Like she was very passive aggressive as a bullier, but I don't know if that was like because I was Muslim or because that's just how she was, you know what I mean? And then let's see. There's also random security checks at airports. Those are always fun. And then, let's see. Because Chattanooga's not very confrontational, I haven't had like anything big happen. Like no one's physically tried to fight me or try to rip off my hijab, thankfully. But I've had someone tell me, take that off. It's like, no. let me, no. So there's been things like that, but like, because, like I said, Chattanooga is not very confrontational. It's always been things that happen either behind my back or like avoidance type stuff. Not really in your face, I'm gonna do something to you kind of stuff. I do.
And why is that, and how do you show that?
I'll start with how I show it, by following the religion I decide to follow, of my own choice, and being who I am as a person, because oftentimes women are shamed for wearing nothing and women are shamed for wearing too much. So it's like, personally, I've always preferred baggy clothes. My mom referred to me as a tomboy growing up. My sister was the complete opposite. She liked tight-fitting clothes, short sleeves, so we're complete opposites in how we wear our clothes. So my sister shows her feminism by wearing less. I show mine by wearing more, because that's a personal choice I'm making. No one's telling me how to wear or how to dress, so that's how I show it. I also show it by being dynamic, being the leader that I am, being president of MSA, getting the education that I want. I mean, I'm just being me without anything limiting who I am, and I guess that's a way of showing feminism, because it's just doing everything you're allowed to do, you know. What was the first part? I forgot.
Why? I think, yeah, why. That was it.
Why do I identify? Because it really pisses me off when my brother's able to do something that I can't. So that's what started it. I didn't understand as a kid because my mom's culture, you know, Latino culture, very machismo and all that kind of stuff. So it's very separated gender-wise. So whenever my brother didn't have to do chores and I had to, part of it was me being the oldest, but part of it was also because I was a girl. So that would always piss me off, and I was always arguing with my mom about it. It's like, no, that's not fair. And she's like, just let it go. Or I'm like, no, I'm going to let it go. So that started it. And then I learned about the inequalities that exist within today's society. Like the U.S. has a lot of issues with domestic violence, violence against women, women being killed because nice guys can't get it, things like that. And as I learned more and more, I was like, you know what, I think this is wrong, so I'm a feminist. Done deal, you know? I mean, it's not that hard, but people want to say that they're egalitarian instead, but the way the society is like, we're not egalitarian right now. So